Welcome to the AM News. Now, COP Dr. George Ekofo Dampare has been appointed Acting Inspector General of Police. He takes over from James Opong-Bueno, who begins his terminal leave on August 1st. A statement announcing the appointment of COP Dampare also named a new acting director of the prison service. Here's a profile of the Acting Inspector General of Police. He's the youngest acting IGP to be appointed in the Fourth Republic and the 8th youngest since Ghana gained independence. Prior to his appointment, he was the most senior police officer after the just retired IGP. Well, he joined the police service as a constable back in December 1990 at the age of 20 and rose through the ranks to become Commissioner of Police. 24 years later, at age 44 in 2014, the rank he held until his appointment. In 1991, on completion of his recruit training, Dr. Dampare was adjudged the overall best recruit at the National Police Training School and won all awards except the award for the best marksman. Again, in 1996, he emerged the overall best cadet for the 32nd Cadet Officers Course at the Ghana Police Academy and won all awards, including excellence in professional police subjects and excellence in academic subjects. Well, we wish Dr. Dampare the very best. Now, the latest wave of COVID-19 infections has swept through 367 schools in Ghana. According to the Ghana Health Service, 2,453 students have so far been infected in the last 3 weeks, with 238 of the cases still active. Updating the media on the country's COVID-19 situation, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, said they have observed a blatant disregard of the protocols instituted ahead of the reopening of schools, even among teachers. The current situation notwithstanding, the Director General says he will not advise a total closure of schools in the country.
When it comes to the schools updates, we've had a total of 367 schools have recorded cases, with a cumulative total number of cases of 2,453. About 90% of them have already recovered. We have 238 active cases among the students from 6 regions. Ahafo has 2 active cases. Ashanti region, 151 active cases. Greater Accra is 75, because most of the Achimota cases have all recovered. Bono has 1, Bono East has 1, and OT has 8 active cases amongst the students. Volta region has recorded the highest total number of cases for students, and that's about 512 cases. And Northeast still remains the only region that has not recorded any case. But what we have also discovered in our search when we went to do a response was an apparent disregard for the protocols that was instituted at the time the schools were reopened. We can also see that the schools that are still abiding by them are still being able to avoid the outbreak. And so we're using this platform to appeal to teachers and everybody to ensure that the protocols are adhered to. And I cannot tell you for exact fact that even when you go there, even the teachers, some teachers were not wearing the mask. And so I think it's something that we need to be blunt about, and people must sit up.
I don't think it's going to be right, because we're looking at about 11 million people in school. And if you look at this number, it doesn't warrant that. You need to look at the fact that all of the new schools, we recorded them in about 361 schools. It's safer than even the community spread in the community. So I don't think that is what it is that if you're able to abide by the protocol, whether you're in school or home, you should be able to abide this spread. Just like so many other schools, secondary schools are looking at 800 of them, but are not yet even up to 100 or 50 of them has shown any case. So I don't think
in the Ashanti region, the chief of Ejura is hopeful the Committee of Inquiry on the Ejura disturbances will do a thorough work to bring justice to all affected persons. Berima Osei Shidie II has appealed to residents to remain calm as the committee completes its report on the killing of 2 people and injury of 6 others about 3 weeks ago. He has expressed satisfaction with the government's handling of the disturbances following the murder of social media activist Ibrahim Mohammed, also known as Kaka. Ohime Interior of our security desk attended a community forum at Ejura and has come through with his report.
On June 29, 2021, the farming town of Ejura turned into a battleground as rampaging youth clashed with armed security operatives. Sounds of gunshots greeted residents, some of whom had just returned from the cemetery to bury social activist Kaka Mechu. The death of the activist sparked disturbances, leading to the death of 2 young men in the community. One teenager who received gunshot injuries with 5 others has had his leg amputated at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. A committee set up to probe the disturbances is yet to submit its report to the Interior Minister after 12 days of public sitting in Kumasi. Ejura Chief Bermashidie says he has faith in the committee to do a thorough work that will bring lasting peace to his people. He appealed to residents to exercise restraint as they await the committee's report. He is, however, happy calm has been restored in the town.
Kaka ifra ntima tintimu Emrantie anya botre na omade emrahye wo nsam esese niema wokrom a enam eno so nti efa so ema nipa mienu etetoye na ebi prepraye Ghana mampanyi nana ado dankwa Akufo-Addo opao committee se omomra Ejura ha sei na omomedo asenumu asuko na omohwe kwan a efa so a ema nipa mienu tetoye a womuka momfra montema tintimu na ebisu prepraye no ye ka de ha ye nyina e kire committee no ye wa rehyamu gidie soronko awa abamu Ghana ban di moye bebreye ewo abra esebu.
Bermashidie's advice was re-echoed by Nifahine Nana Osekwejo Ansebi in an interview with JoyNews.
Our expectation is the committee has finished. They submitting their report to government. Our hope and prayer is that whatever it is that we are looking out for, that will bring peace, that will bring justice to all.
Sarkin Zongo, Alhaji Mohammed Suraj Alasan is backing the Ejurahini to calm expectant residents. He warns residents, especially the youth, not to resort to violence in pursuit of justice.
Obia sa asemwe ato de fie no onya gidie woni mu se inshallah bibipa ebefiri mu ampa committee no so tenae omo tenae no Nana Zongo hine se onim se Nyankopon di mu nti asempa bepie mu omo a omo di sa aboni ni nyina ni nyamransam no Nyankopon be yi omo to ni tiawa obi anya abotre enye Zongo mrantie nyina enkoa Ejura eni ni nkura ase ni mpatam nyina mrantie obi a bibisia yenya abotre.
But how peaceful is Ejura 3 weeks after the community witnessed disturbances? Nana Osekwejo Ansebi, the Nifahine, is first to explain.
The riot that happened, at least, is not continuing. The attack is not continuing. Confrontation with security agencies, with the police, with the military, is not continuing. So we say that there's peace. So far as that crisis is concerned, in any human society, there will be lingering disaffections here and there. That's why we cannot reach out.
Peace is prevailing. Everybody is doing his work normally as usual. But I cannot totally confirm that everybody is having peace in his house. People think that in their houses, since Kaka was changed into his own house, and he was beaten to death, so anybody can also equally be beaten in his house to death.
From Ejura in the Ashanti region for Joy News, Oimintiria reporting.
In the northern region, orthopedic surgeons at the Tamale Teaching Hospital are worried that many young people are getting permanently disabled through road traffic crashes in Ghana. At least 6 people are rushed in daily, and some of them leave with amputated limbs. Head of the orthopedics unit of the hospital, Dr. Togolo Yampabe, says this trend must be reversed.
Here in Tamale also, we amputate some of them because they will come and the leg is so completely gone. So there's no blood supply going to the distal aspect of the limb, and you can't do much. The only thing to do is just to amputate. If you don't amputate the person will die with a severe infection. So you have to remove the limb, because if there's no blood supply to the distal aspect, you can't leave the limb. And we are getting them also a lot. And sometimes people will come and say that, no, I don't want amputation. So we leave them. If you say you don't want amputation, what we do, we debride, we wash it very well, and splint it and leave it. So for you to decide, 1 or 2 days, you yourself will see that the limb is gone. And now you decide that, yes, I will accept the amputation. Some will take the patient home, and later they won't come back. So perhaps the person will die at home.
And how many amputations a week or in a month, averagely?
In the month, I can say we are amputating more than 2 or 3. And so we always try to salvage the limb until it reach a point that we ourselves will know that this one, you can salvage it. So the amputation is not the first choice. So we always try to salvage the limb and make sure that at least you do what you can do. But if later it's not possible, so that's where we do amputation. But some will come, the indication is clear, so you can't do much because there's no blood supply to the distal aspect. There's no soft tissue covering the bone, so nothing you can do. So there's a severe loss of tissue coverage, so you have to amputate. So that one you can't even try to say you want to salvage.
Must we be worried about this?
Yes, we'll be worried about it, because if you have a society where the majority of people are disabled, it's a problem. Because you see, when you have somebody 20 years and you amputate his limb, that's disability. You understand? And that disability, assume he wants to live for 70 years, 20 years, 70 years. So 50 years, he will live with disability. And that is bad. Yeah, that's what we want to avoid. And I think the road safety should really be up and doing.
Back in Accra, environmental health officers of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly have shut down the Kwame Nkrumah branch of Las Palmas restaurant over sanitation breaches. This was after a visit by the Joy Clean Ghana team revealed the popular eatery, which receives hundreds of patrons daily, prepares and sells food under unsanitary conditions. Apart from failure by staff there to produce their health certificates, the kitchen itself has thick dark cobwebs. And Director of Public Health at the AMA, Florence Kuchi, will have none of that. Manuel Cranting was with the team, and here's his report.
Yeah. You want to come with us as we move away from this point to the new plant station just around the Kwame Nkrumah interchange. And of course, that particular spot is a spot where a lot of travelers, besiege, because you have intercity buses there. And most of these travelers sort of eat at that spot while on their journeys. And so we're going to find out how really the food that they eat at these bus terminals is prepared, whether under really hygienic conditions or otherwise. And of course, as you're here, you're going to see all of these pictures here on the JoyNews channel. You want to stay with us.
Yo, Madam Hannah Pacho, position were a higher than.
Actually, call rounds.
Oh, now I am manager.
Manager,
okay. Yeah, Dick. Workers Nina, or my pom with the crater, that is back. Yeah, Basham toilet facility. Some say, hi, baby, I hassle. Obi bet ya but nana ni yema kan mo kra mo ha ye be hwa mo toilet afei wo de ya be ko baby a mo nua aduane ansa na mo de aba inside na baby a mo de mo bola gu na baby a mo jonso nti eno ene ye pese ye hwe ye pese wo de ye ko saa ni niema we as we are going mo being arranging medicals no ye be ba na medicals now you ready
mo de ko abeka e ho na ye central ye farm
obi ani apomode krata wo ha Madam tie uye aduane wa ha ha na momo won mu ye aduane se office tie se officer ba ha na we ba behwe abeka take care of the place but enye se occupy you medical certificate wa nti me ba se sia no media hu se mo am wo ha no mo ye medically fit ana mo screening
me ni wa chinjo ya ye but some ye wi a omo di ni nyina ma no ansana wa che ama obia sana pese metro enye so mo ye but ya ye
mo ye
omo ye mi mo na me Kumasi anso na mo ye aha but
o ye we
me yo no Kumasi
o ye wo Kumasi o ye we onni bi
obi pa ofa
onni senia o de ye be check nia wo ka no ye be check ye pese ye hu medical certificate nti fra wa beka se mo niam wo hwa omo fa mbra ye be ye inspection ni be wie na omo de aba ye wie inspection na so omo fa mbra ye be lock up the place na munton aduano what you say nti ye start nti wo so ye call na omo fa niam na mbra na ye start nti fra obi no mbra na on ye nko rounds.
So what have we found out now?
Yes. Pardon?
What have we found out now?
We have found out that their medical certificates are not here. And she is telling me that all their cars are at Abeka. That is where their head office is. And she herself being the manager, she hasn't also done it. And she's telling me she did hers in Kumasi. She said she was in Kumasi when they were doing it. So she did hers in Kumasi. So I'm telling her that she should call the head office. Abeka is just here. They can take an Okada and bring it to us, those that are here, so that we verify. Other than that, when we are done with the inspections and we don't see the cars, we are going to lock down up the place.
So are we supposed to be seeing a display of these certificates or something?
At some places, you are supposed to have it with you. You know, it's a booklet. You can't display it. So when we come, this is an organized area. It's supposed to be with the manager. So when we come, she needs to take it from their office and show it to us. Just like when we went to the slaughter slab, it was with the manager. He brought it out. That is how it's supposed to be. Yes.
And so now, if they are not able to provide it, what's going to be the next line of action?
That is what I said. We are going round. When we are done and we are not able to provide it, we will deem it that everybody selling food here is not medically screened, and we'll close down the place.
Yes, we are accessing the kitchen itself where the food is prepared from.
From manager and mama. Me see my card wa here. It is not receipt. We want to see the card, not the receipt. Me pacho.
And so we are hearing a retorting of from some of the the caterers here. Madam, I hear them say something. What are you saying?
She's saying this woman said their cars at Abeka. She's also saying it's with somebody. The person was there when they did it. So we are still gathering the facts concerning the cars. So at the end of the inspection, we will know whether the cars are there or the cars are not there. Madam Bra, to Las Palmas is an eatery place where a lot of people patronize. Looking at their louvers was very dirty. There's no toilet facility in here. The cooks and the sellers, none of them is medically screened. And where they display the food before it is even sent into the selling bay is very bad. So we said we cannot close down the place today because they've already prepared some food. We want them, yes, and there are people also standing by to buy the food. We can't ask them to go out. But when this food is done today, tomorrow morning, the officer in charge here will be here with the sanitation task force to come and log the place, and we'll take pictures and then circulate it to you people. Yeah.
And so this is straight exit from the facility, and now we're going to access it again. To me, I'm boss, but we'll be to me Makasa. I force my beshahanuna conditions are more year Dianino and Shadan Yesa. Na yarea by Chile or your coin who cobwebs, Niamani be to toy Dianimo, I'm be close here down. Makasa moto Dianino. How often do you buy from here?
No, dear, I saw Mombasi, but almost close to the ever high. The Pomo Momo Munsis.
I didn't know almost close ever home.
So on the area I say an edity. And to almost close, I just walk far away.
Almost close here, I said, Church, Ubinia healthy food. The Diana will be dinner healthy. See, I said, the more channel, Chess, and shut down your healthy, sir.
Okay, I know the Mokano say ampa. And the Peduana, as you ever dear, ever help here. And the no motion and the young cats are far away, but Marco.
This is almost almost almost
yes, my.
Well, the team will be back at the restaurant this morning. We will see how that goes and report whatever happens. But for now, that's it for the AM News. We've got plenty of news to share with you when we go through the newspapers and also touch online on myjawline.com. Please stay with us. And welcome to our newspaper review segment. Joseph Akable joins me via Zoom as we do this. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Mama V.
Yeah, you good?
Not bad. It's another morning. It's good to see you again.
Yeah.
Virtually, I might say.
Good to see you too. All right, so what papers are you going through, Joseph?
I'll be doing the Ghanaian Times. I'll also do the front page of the Daily Guide, and I'll end with that of the Daily Dispatch front page.
Okay. Why don't you start for us, Joe, then?
So let me start from the front page of the Daily Guide this morning. The Daily Guide reports that Dampare is IGP, Ejura for prisons, and Ghana's economic recovery underway. That is coming from the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. NDC officers want Techiman South case dropped, and government releases about 300 million cedis for the free senior high school program. And Dr. Felix Anyang wins Millennium Excellence Award in Medicine, also on the front page of the Daily Guide. In terms of the center spread, there is some story about Sarkodie partners Adidas to drive Africa's creative economy, and Faith tips economy to grow fastest also in there. Yeah, we can on do the front page of the Daily Dispatch. The Daily Dispatch is reporting this morning from constable in 1990, that is at age 20, to IGP in 2021 at 51 years. And it's a story related to Akufo Dampare, who is the new IGP. And Ghana's national security strategy details on page 3 of the Dispatch. Kandapa is best to account for president's foreign trips, is from Ofuriata. And Bawumia is an asset, can help NPP win in 2024. It's Kojo Opoko who is speaking there. We can undo the front page of the Ghanaian Times now. The Ghanaian Times reports, I don't account for presidential travels, is from Ken Ofuriata, the finance minister. President appoints Dr. Dampare as acting IGP. Court awards 1 million cost against 37 military hospital, and Pun Katamanso bans consumption of pork due to swine fever outbreak. It's also on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. In terms of its page 16 and 17, the center spread, I don't account for presidential travels. Details of that story can be found in there. And the Greater Accra Regional Minister solicits for support for Operation Clean Your Frontage bylaw. It's also on page 16 and 17 of the Ghanaian Times. That will be it for me, Mama B.
Let's do the Daily Guide newspaper, and there's a story that's been making rounds yesterday. It's about the 37 military hospital being slapped with a little over $1 million Ghana cedis over patient deaths. It's details of what happened in the hospital back in 2015, leading to the death of a wife, a mother, and a daughter, really. That is absolutely heartbreaking. Not even this figure, by way of the amounts, can console anybody. I'll share details of that with you. It's good news, actually, even though the circumstances is not good. It can't bring her back, certainly cannot console them. And it's also left with a child with a deformity, which cannot be repaired, really, not by the figure that's been given. But it's good news. Finance Minister swerves Parliament, and swerve is in quote, because as you know, when he went to Parliament, he said, well, it wasn't his domain, apparently. Was it just like one sentence to settle the score? Bost saves $24 million in payments to BDCs. And Joseph, you hit on it. It was our first story in the news as well. Dampare, Ejura, head police and prisons. The changes in the Ghana Police Service and the prison service. Let's turn attention to the center spread. 14 million identified as eligible taxpayers after TIN's exercise. Let's enforce COVID-19 safety protocol. That's the Ghana Health Service making this call, calling for strict enforcement of the safety protocols where appropriate, so as to help deal with the increasing number of cases, especially the Delta variant of the disease in the country. And then a 3-day conference to showcase new scientific knowledge and novel applications of technology, which will lead to the development of new disease diagnostic tools, drugs and vaccines, has opened here in Accra. On the back page, the rehabilitation of the spillway channel and ancillary works of the Tono irrigation scheme in the Kasina Nankana municipality in the Upper East region is 85% complete. Updates on the projects is what's captured on the back page. And the anti-human trafficking unit of the Ghana Police Service has raised an alarm over supposed organ harvesting syndicates that may lure members of the public abroad for illegal organ harvesting. So the head of the unit, Chief Superintendent Mike Barr, said there were syndicates that sought to lure unsuspecting victims abroad with juicy job offers and deals, and urged Ghanaians to be alert and careful to avoid falling victims. That's it for the Daily Graphic newspaper. Let's do the New Independent newspaper next. On the front page of the New Independent newspaper, after admitting he breached Constitution in Sputnik vaccine agreement, Health Minister to face courts, NDC MPs hints. The search to fill top posts in the Ghana Police Service, Dampare is the man, emerges tops to replace retiring Opon Bueno as IGP. Another alleged military police brutality saga in the Ashanti region, regional minister fingered as the mastermind of invasion. And IMF commends Ghana for encouraging signs of economic recovery amidst COVID-19 pandemic. That's what's on the front page of the New Independent newspaper by way of their headlines. Let's do the Business and Financial Times next. On the front page, pension funds increase participation in equities market. Analyst calls for cautious optimism in the short term, suggests guided minimum threshold would aid growth. IMF projects debt to hit 83% of GDP end of year. 14 million registered taxpayers, only 6 million file returns. And why are remittances to emerging market growing? Question. They've got the answers in the inside pages. DBG to plunge 158 billion Ghana cedis manufacturing service financing gap. That's according to the finance minister. You can check out lots more business and financial stories in the Business and Financial newspaper today. My last paper is also a business newspaper. It's the Business Finder. On the front page, economic outlook promising. Ongoing digitization is key to post-COVID-19 recovery, according to the IMF. GCB Bank voted Financial Business of the Decade. No rules, regulations will be infringed upon. That's the new NPA boss given that assurance. So I guess by way of headlines, that will be it. Joseph, where would you want to start?
I thought we'll start from the 37 military hospital.
Okay, absolutely.
I actually have a copy of the judgment, which I was just looking through it. I mean, very, very interesting decision from Justice Akati Boafo, who is at the General Jurisdiction Division of the High Court. I mean, this is a mother who, at the time, was a PhD student, actually, at the University of Ghana, the biology department, and was pregnant and had to deliver. And so had high blood pressure as a result of the pregnancy-induced high blood pressure. So was taken to the hospital where there was discussions about the birth procedure, and she had indicated that she wanted to be delivered via a cesarean section, and the doctors rather opted to do the labor-induced one, the vaginal delivery, as it is called in some instances. That's happened, and
yeah, I was just going to say, which is strange, really. Because often, people would actually be convinced to do the cesarean. There are many women who would say, no, they want to do the vaginal birth, and sometimes doctors have to struggle to explain to them why they think that would not be an option in certain situations. But this is the other way. Go ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it was carried out eventually, and that is the labor-induced one. Then we are told that after the procedure, she was bleeding profusely. She was left unattended to, and eventually rushed to the theater where she died, and the child was born with a bit of a deformity on the hand. And the interesting thing is that the husband is actually a staff of the hospital, was working as a physiotherapist at the 37 military hospital. And so together with the father of the wife, he decided to pursue this particular action.
And the father, Joseph, before you continue, it's interesting you brought the husband. But the father is also a captain, worked within the Ghana Armed Forces, and this is their hospital. So it's not like strangers, trying to find attention in the facility.
Absolutely. And so these are people who are very familiar with the hospital, but they decided to take action at it. And I just want to read portions of what the court found after it analyzed the evidence. So the judge said that based on all the evidence, the court's simple reaction to the last case, the plaintiff did not need to call further evidence. Own witnesses who are experts in the field considered to their errors with the plaintiff's counsel in cross-examination. Indeed, as ably demonstrated in this judgment, hospital certainly fell short of the basic standards required of skilled doctors. As the authorities do agree, facts of each case should be the sole determinant whether a medical team should be found in this court, points to the irresistible conclusion that this is a direct consequence of the hospital's breach of duty to the deceased and her. In actual sense, they didn't even have to lead evidence. The individuals that were doctors, once they were cross-examined, the hospital's own witnesses were cross-examined. The court said that it was obvious that breach of the duty of care, that they owed to slap the various damages that you've already.
Well, an apology that we're just experiencing some breaks, intermittent breaks, and that sound of Joseph Akable. Joseph, slap the network, get back.
The network is breaching the duty of care it owes me. Is that better now?
It is. Whatever you did, stay.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, we find ourselves in a situation where Fama Nyame is often the refrain. I mean, and it's interesting. Looking through the case itself, you realize that the court didn't even have a lot of local examples to even rely on in terms of to reach its conclusion, because it's not a path that is often pursued. But quite recently, especially at 37 military hospitals, we've seen a number of cases in this regard that have been filed against.
Yeah, Joseph, I think there's a pending one as well. Can't remember all the details right now. But I just also wanted to, whilst we work on that network of yours, Joseph Akable, because it just suddenly went off again, I wanted to share details of the damages awarded. Damage cost of 400,000 Ghana cedis each was awarded to the deceased father and husband. They both brought the action for loss of expectations of life. There's also 50,000 Ghana cedis for mental distress, 100,000 Ghana cedis to the baby for a deformity caused to his right arm as a result of the medical negligence, 50,000 Ghana cedis for pain, 50,000 Ghana cedis to the deceased father for primary care given to the child, and 25,000 Ghana cedis for plaintiff's costs against the defendants. Good job by the court. I did indicate not even $1 million to 5, 10, whatever figure will bring a dead person back. But we hope that at least the fact that they found justice as well will bring them some form of closure to them. Joseph, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can now. Is there anything more you want to say on this case before we close it?
I mean, just the point about the damages, and I agree with you that even our own Thomas Partey and the rest, they earn human beings, and if you lose a life, I mean, no matter the amount, you can never be compensated for it. But what is important is that the hospital.
Okay, Joseph, now you need to reposition yourself so we can have a free flow in this conversation and in the review. So while Joseph adjusts his desk wherever that network is, let me share a bit of this story on page 20 in the Daily Graphic newspaper about the finance minister swerving parliament. It says, the Minister of Finance, Mr. Ken Oforiatta, has told Parliament that the best institution to furnish the House with details on the cost of the president's recent official travels outside the country is the Office of the National Security. So it turns out that he was not the right person to answer the question of how much it cost the president in the trip that's become controversial. So he said, due to national security implications, the air travel for the president, including the costs for the advanced team, flight arrangements, security accommodation, and air tickets were coordinated operationally between the Office of Government Machinery and the National Security Secretariat. He said, in line with the 2021 budget implementation instructions, the Ministry of Finance did not release any funds to the Chief of Staff specifically for the president's trip to France, Belgium, and South Africa. Okay, now, there's also a little bit of controversy because it was revealed by the Member of Parliament who first brought this issue up, Okujeto Ablakwa. Now, the Finance Minister had apparently gave an indication that he needed more time to answer the question. And then he comes back after giving the more time, only to tell Parliament this. But we've heard from the majority side, they say, no, nothing of the sort happened. He didn't ask for any extension of time. So you see, when it comes to the two sides, there is always a controversy. I don't know how this one will be resolved, but there's always the records of Parliament, right? So we can check. Joseph, have you done the checks? Do we know if Finance Minister asked for more time or not?
I mean, there was a date that he was supposed to show up. There was a date that he was supposed to show up in Parliament, and we had indicated he couldn't show up on that particular day, and so it was announced he was going to come on a different occasion. I don't know whether that constitutes a formal request for extra time by him, but the fact of the matter is that he did not show up on a day that he was slated to go before Parliament, and he was subsequently asked to come back on a different day.
Yeah. So how does this answer? It means that this issue is still pending, isn't it? We still don't know how much it costs the presidency.
Really not surprised with the answer.
Couldn't the question, if they had directed it just called on the chief of staff, this would have ended, right?
The problem really is whether the chief of staff can be dragged in that form of a direct manner. She's not a minister of state per se in that regard. But I think the point really is that this is information that if the finance minister was minded to provide, I think he should be in a position to provide it. I think we do not need to have a formal parliamentary sitting. We are talking about the machinery of a state. An MP is gathering, be seated to just hear the response that I don't have the answer. I don't think that is judicious use of Parliament's time. To find it. And again, the response that has come relative to the point that the Minister for National Security has those answers. I see a situation where if any attempt is made to call upon him, you know what the response will be. It's a national security matter and we can't disclose.
On the issue of the chief of staff, I think there's precedent, isn't it? I remember there's a former chief of staff who's been to Parliament to answer questions. I'm not sure, I've got to cross-check that. Well, somebody will ask, will this put bread and butter on our table? Whether or not this question is answered. But Ghanaians want to know. Some Ghanaians want to know, don't they? All right, so we'll leave this matter and... Joseph is saying something?
Yeah, I was saying that you were asking about whether to put bread on the table, and I'm saying that it will afford we the taxpayers opportunities to know whether our resources are being used judiciously by way of the president's travel.
Okay, we're here. So we'll wait to see if a questioning will be put for the National Security Minister to come before Parliament to answer this pending question. Joseph, you look through the Ghanaian Times. There's a story on page 3 about a 31-year-old nurse of the Zibila Hospital in the Boko West district of the Upper East region who has been killed by suspected armed robbers on the Bolgatanga-Zibila road in the early hours of Tuesday. Very, very tragic. Usually when things happen to people, the hospital is the first point of call. This is a hospital staff that's been at the center of this. There's a picture of the late Pumi on page 3. Absolutely tragic. And then still on page 3, Chief Inspector Victoria Ntowa of the Fijiase police station has been found dead in her car on Tuesday at Asokore, Kobiso in the Eastern region. She was found dead in her vehicle. Details of the vehicle given, and there's no information about who was driving the vehicle. According to the report, police Chief Inspector Ishmael Stanley Ajay and 3 men went to the scene following reports about the death of policewoman. So same day, Tuesday, when Pumi was killed by these suspected armed robbers, there was a policewoman who was also found in her car dead. So these incidents are being investigated by the police. All right, Joseph, is there a story you want to highlight before we do myjoyonline.com?
The appointment of Dr. George Kufu-Dampare as the IGP is what has got people equally talking. I mean, I don't know what your own thoughts are on this appointment.
Oh, Dr. Dampare is such a nice person. I think he's, we will all call him our friend. We wish him well, except that I've heard some people say that could the timing be right? This appointment should have come in way earlier. I've heard people say that. But I haven't done the analysis myself. I just know that he's a fine gentleman, and he's probably been preparing for this position for a long time. So he will hit the ground running.
I think every single IGP appointment since 2017, his name has come up as a possible IGP, and so it's no surprise that he's coming. He comes into the job with a lot of public goodwill. Like you say, he's a nice man. A lot of people like him, and they see him as someone who is very smart, very intelligent. He's a real definition of a modern policeman as opposed to the aspects of policing that we knew in the past. So what we expect from him is a modern police service, respect for human rights, and one that uses technology and goes all out to gather intelligence properly to figure out crimes, among other things. I mean, it cannot be business as usual. It's high expectations, and we expect him to succeed.
But as we've also come to learn, it's not a one-man effort. It's always team. So I really do pray that the team that he is either forming or meeting will be one that can, go according to what he plans to do. But we certainly wish him well. He's a good man, and it is our prayer that he succeeds.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's do myjoyonline.com. We will discover that the special prosecutor nominee will be vetted today, Joseph. This is certainly live coverage. All eyes, ears will be with Parliament's Appointment Committee as they vet this man, Kissi Ejabeng. There's been lots of conversations. Some say he's too young to occupy this position, first occupied by Martin Amidou. Joseph, what would you be looking out for?
Top of your head, do you know his actual specific age?
I think he's 42, 3.
Okay, so he's in, I think he's around that age. I mean, well, really, you see the requirements of the position as provided by law are things that he will be able to meet. It's the question about whether he possesses the character and the independence of mind to be a special prosecutor. You know, a special prosecutor, like it happens in other jurisdictions, it's a big deal. There are no-nonsense people who cannot be controlled by anyone. I mean, cast in the mode of Martin Amidou. Typically, people who will do what they want to do, will say what they want to say. They do not care how it means or how it affects their appointing authority. Those are the aspects of his competency that I cannot speak to. But what I can speak to is that he's certainly a brilliant legal brain. He's a fantastic lawyer who will meet the requirements on paper. It's the other aspects that I do not have a reason to be able to confirm or deny.
Well, hopefully the members on the Appointments Committee will help us appreciate all the other sides of him so we can all make up our minds. Stay here on Joy News as we bring you live coverage of that. Joseph, this is it. Thank you very much for your time. But work on that internet. What network do you use so that we can tell them that we don't want any breaks tomorrow, God willing?
They've already assured me, so no need to name them.
Joseph Akablay joining me for us to bring you the review. Thanks, Joseph. Have a lovely day today. Stay with us. We'll bring you sports, after which we will do AM Talk. We're talking about the new police appointments, the acting IGP, the changes to the police service. We're talking about the vetting of Mr. Kissi Ejabeng as special prosecutor. And we're talking COVID, all coming up on AM Talk after sports. Stay with us.
There are stories about how the Ghana Athletics Association leaders have got their own shortfalls. Many have called on the current leadership led by Professor Francis Jodu to step down for mismanaging Ghana Athletics. They are also calling on the leadership of the Ghana Athletics Association to lift an indefinite ban that was imposed on Malta Bisa in 2014. And today, some 150 members of the Ghana Boxing Authority will assemble at the Sports Emporium to choose a new leader after their current president, Peter Zonis, decided that he was not going to contest again. Manley Spain and Abraham Nikwe are contesting for the position of president. Manley Spain says if he's given the mandate, he will focus on sports tourism. These and many more with me, Muftau Nabila Ablai, on the AM show, AM Sports Now. Now let's talk about some members of the Ghana Athletics Association calling on Professor Francis Jodu and his team to step down for what they say is mismanagement of Ghana athletics. According to him, this current leadership does not have the interests of Ghanaians at heart, and they are abusing power since they came into office in 2010.
Gentlemen of the press, my question again is, why did GA receive money from IAF for the World Championships and presented a budget of $84,000 to the government of Ghana, who unknowingly released that amount? Has this been investigated? That's my question. Ladies and gentlemen, we must emphasize that we are not power drunk and we are not litigants and we are not underminers to take this action we are doing now. if the administration and management of Ghana Athletics had been fair and good, with good governance and integrity conduct, we would not have gone this far. We leave this matter to the people of Ghana to judge whether we are doing the right thing or not. But we have this to say. You see this banner here. We are saying that free Matabisa and let her fulfill her calling in athletics. The issue of Matabisa has been on the table since long, from 6 years and down counting. And we ask government to intervene in this. We want fair, trustworthy administration. If they cannot, if the executives cannot do this with credible governance, then they should leave office. We want the executive committee, together with the Secretary General, to step down honorably, or serious investigation will take place on the issues enumerated against them in the document we have attached. We want to advise Mr. Charles Osei-Sibe, from the president of Arm Wrestling Federation, to honorably step down and leave the marketing and vice presidency to the affairs of the people in athletics to manage.
Still on athletics, and former president of the association, George Lutrot, wants the athletics governing body to lift an indefinite ban imposed on Matabisa. The GA called Matabisa and demanded he renders an unqualified apology for accusing leaders of the association of making financial demands before granting her a scholarship abroad. But Lutrot says she owes no one any apology for speaking the truth.
That question baffles me. I mean, year after year, we keep talking about this issue, and it is not solved. It baffles me why it is not solved. You know, but it baffles me also how people can be so heartless. They can be so heartless. You look at a young lady, and say, "I banned you." I ask myself, what is going on? What are the women's groups? There are so many women's groups in Ghana. Girl Child Association, what have they done about it?
Maybe you should petition them.
You know, they hate it. I don't have to petition nobody. They hear it on the news. You know, they can't do that. You can't do that. And then, but it's a shame because many people have heard about this thing. Some people don't want their daughters to go near athletics. I've had that experience before. People don't want their daughters to go and do athletics because of this matter issue. It is a cancer in Ghana athletics. And I believe in the law of karma. You do bad against somebody, you will get it back manifold. What they've done to Martha is unforgivable. You want people to say, well, why don't you tell her to apologize? Apologize for what? If she had done something worthy of an apology, she will apologize. But she says, I'm telling the truth. I am telling the truth. Why should I apologize for telling the truth? That is the problem. Why do you apologize for telling the truth? And the GAA had an issue. They should have set up an independent body to investigate. Martha said this, Jodu said this. Please, let's see where the truth lies. They didn't do that. Like I said before, which is wrong. And the most important thing is she was a minor. So what they did was illegal, as any lawyer.
We're made to understand that the Ghana Athletics Association set up an ethics committee that had the likes of Carl to fall on that committee to investigate this matter. We'll surely follow up to find out what details they were able to gather following the investigations they made. But now let's still continue to talk about athletes, and Ghana's Paralympian Bocho Nkegbe will not be part of Ghana's team for this year's Paralympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. The three-time Paralympian failed to make the qualification time. Here is President of the Ghana Paralympic Committee, Samson Dean.
If you go online and read the news from the MPC, we have always insisted that athletes have made qualification mark. Please, not athletes have qualified. Are we clear? You can go and Google from all the news portals. You will see and notice that we have consistently said athletes have made qualification mark. And I'm hopeful that maybe Peter has explained the difference between making the qualification mark and also qualifying for the games. It will go into a pool. IPC and their team will decide as to finally, June 23rd, right? Communicate to all MPCs across the world. Him and Yusuf Amadou competed for Ghana Para Athletics under the MPC. They gave the opportunity, please get this clear, they gave that slot to National Paralympic Committee of Ghana to select from our pool of athletes, male athletes, pool of male athletes. Are we clear? So meaning they did not tell us to choose from either Bocho Nkegbe or to choose from Yusuf Amadou. Fairly, we decided to look at participation to competitions and those who helped to secure the slot for Ghana. So it came to the MPC board to now decide. We could just also decide to give it to anybody. But after going through series of discussions and trying to look at what could be of benefit immediate in the future for Ghana, the MPC, through a ballot, voted to take Yusuf Amadou to Tokyo 2020. The picture is clear. Nobody is against Bocho Nkegbe. It was an opportunity both of them helped to secure. And we thought, I can't say maybe if I didn't vote for whatever, but so far as it's a vote, it's a vote. So far as the majority carries the vote, it's a decision which I have to take responsibility of. The MPC, being led by myself, we chose Yusuf Amadou.
Welcome to the talk segment of our show. We've got some big issues to digest. My guest in the studio, Roxy Nelson Dafamapo, is Member of Parliament for South Dai. He's a member of the Standing Orders Committee and a member of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament. Member also of the Constitutional Legal Parliamentary Affairs Committee, and I'm predicting he soon could be on the Appointments Committee. All right, also Vincent Akowasefwa is Member of Parliament, Otafo, member of the House Committee, member on the Education Committee as well. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Prophetess.
Except that I think you can be only on 3 committees, or
yes,
you can't go beyond 3.
No, you can go.
You can go beyond.
Leaders are on as many as
4,
5, even 6 committees by virtue of what they occupy. So good morning, my brother. Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning to my good people of South Dine, Peki, Kpali, Prevetongo.
What's up with the roads?
They are still in an atrocious state. He has refused to do
You said you sent me the pictures and the videos.
No, I need to take you. What we'll do is that we'll be going on research very soon. So I intend to take a crew along.
Okay.
We need to package that. We need to arrange that. Then we can go and stay for like 3 days. Yes, then we'll not cover the...
What's the fee they give when you go outside your workstation?
That's up to you. That's up to multimedia too. I cannot fix the fee. Otherwise, I'll be asking for it for gratis. As part of your corporate social responsibility.
Well, so we'll give you a correspondent there. I thought you said you wanted me to come along.
Yes,
but I'm staying for 3 days, so we have to work on that.
We'll do so in camera.
All right.
Let me say a very good morning to the good people of Volta for constituency. I'm sure they are watching this morning, especially the leadership of the constituency, constituency executives and all polling station executives, chiefs, the traditional council of Volta for constituency, both TAFO and Pankrono leadership. A very good morning to you.
All right. Let's start with the New Independent because, Mr. Nelson Afamako, you're on page 3.
Yes.
You've been featured. And here's what you said. You said that the health minister's admission before the committee probing matters surrounding the purchase or the contracts to purchase vaccines, particularly the Sputnik V vaccine, because of his own admissions, he could be liable for prosecution.
Yet, I said so. I recall granting this interview to your station, your correspondent in Parliament. And it's true, because you see, the Honorable Martin Amidu has, I think a couple of years ago, taken this chain of cases to the Supreme Court and got firm judicial pronouncements that non-compliance with the ingredients, the requirements in Article 181(5) thereabout, amounted to a breach and led to the abrogation of all those chain of cases. And so you recall the struggles we had, leading Oyomi to court and all that. So I did say that we could be facing similar scenario in this matter. Particularly because the agreement, according to him, the agreement is no longer in force. The other party has unilaterally abrogated the agreement. And as a result of that abrogation, there are liabilities outstanding. If you heard him, there have been some supplies before the abrogation. So we are liable in that regard. So we'll see, but I was very hesitant in concluding firmly because I said this was a developing story. This was just after his first day appearance. There have been subsequent appearances by him, and so we'll see how it pans out. But clearly, we are in a similar scenario here.
Vincent, what do you see?
Well, let me put it in proper perspective. In times of emergency and for example, a pandemic like this, you cannot strictly use the non-compliant to mean that the health minister may be liable.
Parliament had not been dissolved at the time.
Well, but my point is that pandemic, as we all know, is a situation whereby it makes it very difficult for you to be able to follow due process with respect to the PPA. And for that matter, I do not see that the non-compliance will be an issue where the health minister will have to be liable in terms of prosecution. Now, the point I want to make is Sputnik V vaccines, as we all know, and the Russians were supposed to be selling it for about $10. And the Minister for Health, unilaterally without recourse to Cabinet and Parliament, had to go in for the deal for about $19. Now, if you are purchasing the vaccine directly from Russians themselves, the $10 that you are supposed to get it from, ordinarily you are supposed to transport it to Ghana. You are supposed to also store it in a cold storage. That alone can give you about $3. And so in the circumstances that we found ourselves, he himself had admitted that the pressure on him, and I remember when I was at the Education Ministry, when we started with the implementation of the double track, at the time that we were supposed to be placing students, a night before the release of the placement, we had a crash of our software. And we had paid so much money to the software developer. At that time, there needed to be a decision as to procuring for another software to be able to place the student the next morning. The decision at the time I was with Dr. Matopoku Pempe Eslowusu and Dr. Yaoseduchu, we had to make a decision that night around 2 a.m. It is very difficult for anybody to convince me that because of these circumstances, how the Ministry of Education had to follow any procedure with respect to Public Procurement Act. And so I want to make the point that the circumstances makes it very difficult for us to...
Isn't that why? Because, you see, it is Parliament that makes the laws.
May I rebut? May I rebut?
Okay, go ahead and ask my question.
First of all, my position in respect of the prosecution is not about the procurement. Procurement is different from seeking parliamentary approval. Entirely different. Now, I can understand that there's a general clause under, there's a general provision under Section 90 or so of the PP Act that speaks of ratification. That you can write to the board of PPA to ratify procurements that you didn't comply with under 40. But that is not what we speak of. Our scrutiny has established that this transaction falls within the ambit of Article 1815. That's the point you have.
Business transaction.
Yes, international business transaction. In any case, the emergency argument, the emergency logic that Vincent and the government are pushing in this debate is not founded, because COVID didn't strike in January 2021. COVID struck this country in December 2019. And
it would even be very
hold on.
early in 2020.
No, hold on.
Begin to record cases in March.
No,
Yes.
no.
Yes,
hold on,
yes.
hold on.
That's the case.
Hold on. It struck this country in December 2019. Then when the cases were building up, when the numbers were increasing, the president shut this country down in March.
Wait,
No. December was for China.
So what is on
China.
record?
Hold on.
What is on record that we know?
Hold on.
Is the famous
May I?
information minister plus the health minister plus another.
Hold on.
That live broadcast that they did. That's in March.
Can I finish?
Yes, please.
The scientific evidence
in Ghana
is that when you contract COVID, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to manifest. And I am saying the incidents began to build up in December when we cross over to the new year.
Okay, what we're talking is what is on record.
No, hold on. In January 2020, we began to experience cases. 1, 2. Until the president...
That isn't on record.
No.
That's not on record.
Oh. The first one was at the airport.
Oh, can I finish this?
Yes, you're still talking.
Yeah.
Good. I just wanted to be good.
And I'm saying, and I'm making the point that the president didn't shut this country down after 6 March 2020 for just one case that we recorded. No. When he returned from Norway, from his trip to Norway on the 4th of March, and held the 6-month celebrations at Kumasi, after that, then we got shut down. So it was the building up of the cases. It didn't take a day.
Okay, I appreciate your analysis.
Exactly. So they shouldn't push the emergency logic or angle. We have always known. What they could be saying is that the development of vaccine over the period got scientifically proven sometime in October. And so it took even some months for Africa to even have an opportunity to get supplied. If they speak like that, and so when the figures began to go up again in January, February, so he had to do this. I can appreciate that. But you shouldn't speak as if COVID struck us in January 2021, and by February, he had to quickly do this. We have always been in COVID. So they should check how the reasoning is going,
So
because people are verifying those facts.
Okay, so this is in response to when he says there was a lot of pressure and people were dying.
Exactly, because there have been a lot of fatality cases recorded, even in 2020. But I can appreciate if he says that when the vaccine became scientifically tested and established and distribution began globally, there was pressure from almost every country to purchase. And so when he got the opportunity to do this, he had to rush. But in rushing, we have been somewhere at midnight to approve facility agreement for government to be able to do things. Sometimes not even concerning
He's
health.
still a member of parliament.
He is, for Doma. He's the veritable honorable member for Doma. The government has summoned us midnight. We've been brought from our villages to come and approve agreements overnight. He could have done that. That was why the honorable Akando asked him, and he agreed that he could have done that. We are not worried about the transactions that he entered into to save lives. No, we are worried about his responses. I think let's get the difference.
Are you
worried
about the procedure, or you're worried about his responses?
You see, when you say that you were not thinking straight in doing this, you scandalized everybody.
But that is his truth.
No.
Aren't you happy that he's been open enough to tell you?
No, we didn't. Look, Vincent is here. We have public servants. You don't get to serve in the highest levels of the public service and speak this way. You don't do that.
Isn't that an opportunity for you to call for him to be fired and say he's unfit?
Get proper briefing.
But that's his truth.
No, get proper briefing and speak with all due respect to him in a manner that you come across as a leader. And there are professionals and consultants serving under you. These decisions wasn't taken by you personally. They had a COVID management team.
You had one as well.
Exactly. Government had a whole COVID management team.
But isn't he showing leadership by taking responsibility?
No, but you don't take responsibility.
Wasn't it his signature on that?
You don't take responsibility by speaking as if it was your personal decision. That is what has scandalized people. That is what people find unacceptable and offensive. That's such an important decision, and you tell us that you're not thinking straight. What about the committee that was helping you to think through some of these things? What about the policy decisions, the protocol decisions you were taking? You were working with a team. So speak and give some credit to the team. Don't personalize this. I think that is what I find very, very unacceptable.
Vincent, there's a lot in what he's had to say.
Yes, but you see, I don't see anything offensive about the comments made by the Minister of Health.
That he wasn't thinking straight?
Let's not take off the human element out of public service. The fact that you are made a Minister of State, Minister of Health, doesn't take away the fact that you are no more human or you are a superhuman being. The Middle East company, the Middle East company called the Ejura had to go and pay the Russian government $5 billion to purchase about 50 million doses of Sputnik vaccine. Now, what it means is that a developing country like Ghana, who would want to also secure about 20 million of these vaccines, and had now been told by the Russian government that there is an intermediary organization or institution that you now have to be dealing with, who will now have to be giving you amount or prices that you yourself cannot control. It is being controlled by market forces. As I've already said, pandemic is pandemic. Novel for us as a nation.
You recall that fanfare that day when the drugs arrived?
Novel for us as a nation. It is not wrong for the Minister of Health to have said that he was not thinking straight. This is a truthful and a loyal, honest, candid admission of a Minister of Health who have also acknowledged that indeed he is human. It is not offensive in any way for you to admit before the Ghanaian public that the pressure...
I remember when he was first appointed, and there was the conversation that he wasn't a medical person, like a health practitioner.
Right.
But there was also the projection that he's a professional accountant.
Right.
He is an accountant.
Absolutely.
And it came with all the, and I think he even said it during his vetting, where he says he comes with the unique
ability
credentials
to work under pressure.
Did he really say that? Did he really say that? It sounds like a cliche in my mind. Everybody who's going to look for a job will say I can work under pressure and all that.
I was just bringing the accounting aspect where you can't give that excuse, can you? I mean, in accounting, and say you weren't thinking straight.
When the lives of over 30 million Ghanaians is on your head, when the pandemic was or had become fierce to the extent that people were dying.
To be fair, Vincent, people weren't dying like the way it has been put.
People were dying because...
We were recording cases.
Absolutely.
But people weren't dying like that.
People were dying. Now we have about 840 people who have died out of COVID. 840 precious Ghanaian lives. Mama V, that is not a joke for me. If that's a joke for you, I'm sorry. But that is not a joke for me. We were recording numerous cases. And the Minister of Health...
Do you know the fatality between March and now?
I am interested in the fact that the situation at hand makes it very difficult for every human being. And trust me, if you were the Minister of Health now, probably you would have committed worst cases.
Just some clarity. So I understand he's an economic statistician.
It doesn't matter.
It still makes him human. I'm only highlighting this to appreciate his professional background.
I'm saying that.
But also, I think most importantly is the fact that, I mean, there was a team that had been formed. It's not like he was taking all the decisions.
This man has been chairman of Public Accounts Committee for a very, very long time.
It doesn't make him inhuman.
Yes.
He has accepted before a committee who is representing the people of Ghana.
It was my personal decision, so don't speak to Ghanaians as if it was your private decision.
Fair enough, Mr. Dokomopo. Let him land, please.
I am saying that he has agreed and admitted before the people of Ghana that the human element in him made him make this mistake. He has apologized for it.
Shouldn't he? That's also another angle yesterday that came up on other platforms. Shouldn't he be resigning?
Well, that is a personal decision for him.
You've done things that go contrary to your own.
That is a personal decision for him.
That's a failure.
That's a personal decision for him. Mind you, the circumstances are abnormal circumstances. Circumstances that are not normal.
We've seen other public workers elsewhere where they've breached basic COVID protocols resign.
That is that jurisdiction.
That isn't Ghana. This is even bigger than that, isn't it?
But I'm saying that is his personal decision to make. If he decides that because of what has happened and his inability
to think well,
his inability
fire him based on this.
That is also the wish of the president. If he decides that he appointed him, if you want to disappoint him, so be it. But I'm just saying that I want to commend him.
Representative of the constituents, the people of Oka, what do you think?
I commend him for his candor. I commend him for his admission that indeed he had to err is human. He has agreed. Or he has admitted that he erred.
What should be the punishment that goes with that kind of admission?
We have laws. We have rules and regulations that govern this. He has already indicated that Article 181 of the 1992 Constitution that deals with international businesses, when it is breached to that extent, may have its consequences. If Parliament or the Attorney General want to go after him in that manner, so be it. But I'm just saying that the circumstances, he has admitted that indeed he erred, and he has shown that indeed he is a true Ghanaian. He is patriotic, he's candid, and he didn't lie before the committee, and the committee who are supposed to be representative of the Ghanaian people. And he was acting, and I mean we should be truthful to ourselves, acting to ensure that you safeguard the lives of the Ghanaian people. Okay. And we cannot, I don't think that you should be punished for being truthful.
So what's the end, as in the committee does this work and so what?
Now we have the power to make recommendations.
To who? The executive?
Yet. Why? This government...
I'm just trying to open this up so that people following the conversation can follow properly.
As we speak, this government is in court.
To Parliament or to Executive first?
This government is in court prosecuting other Ghanaians for causing financial loss to the state regarding much lesser sums of money. This government. So, where the evidence is very clear, we expect that they'll prosecute any other person.
Okay. So I see this is, Parliament trying to put pressure on the executive, which is a good thing. You guys should be doing more of these.
But that's our duty. That's our duty.
Yeah. It looks like you're now coming around the table.
We have always come around the table. We have always.
Ghanaians are now very proud of you.
Yes. They have always been proud of us. So we agree that where we think we err and they take us on, we take it in our good faith and take it in our stride.
Gentlemen, I want us to move on from one conversation to the other, and we will be updating you on the work of Parliament and ultimately the recommendation that this committee gives to Parliament itself. And then we'll see the kind of direction that the Speaker will give. There's the appointment of Dr. Dampari as the new acting IGP, Inspector General of Police. There's also been a change at the top with the Prisons Service. But I think it's COP George Dampari that's gotten a lot of people talking. For those of us who know him as a professional, he's a fantastic professional police officer. And we're happy for this appointment. But why has there been a change? Has this been sudden, Vincent?
Well, I don't think it has been sudden. Opombwenu has been on retirement for the past 2 years. He just got additional 2 years to act based on the discretion of the president. But Mamavi, if you ask me to describe Dr. Dampari in one word, I would describe him as decent. He is a decent policeman, coming from the background of where he was admitted into the Ghana Police Service as a constable at the age of 20, clearly without any secondary school background, just within about 24 years.
Hey, just within about.
You see, I'm just saying within the 24 years.
Just within 24 years.
What I mean is, that's a lot of years.
It's a lot of years, but you see, if you look at the achievements, you see, if you look at the
in the scheme of police service,
it is not a joke.
It is so phenomenal. Yeah.
And the number of achievements that he has been able to chalk within this period is remarkable. And at the age of 26, I'm being told that he became a chartered accountant. And from there, he moved to do his PhD in finance as well. But checking his profile, you can see that he has worked in diverse areas as far as the Ghana Police Service is concerned. Be it the welfare department, be it the finance department, the administration department, the national patrol department. He has also been at the command school as well. And so clearly, he's having diverse knowledge about how the police structure works. I am of the opinion that there seemed to be a dent on the reputation of the Ghana Police Service over the years. What is he bringing on board? I expect that he should go on an agenda of rebranding the Ghana Police Service. The Ghana Police Service is not supposed to be seen as a warrior. The Ghana Police Service is supposed to be seen as a friend to the Ghanaian or to the citizen. This is the kind of image I would expect that Dr. Dampari will be able to create in the minds of the Ghanaian people. Over the years, over the past few months, we've seen that police personnel are being killed, some of them in bullion vans and what have you. What is his policy directive with respect to protecting the police personnel who have been guarding bullion vans and what have you? Is he going to continue with the projections?
We don't have bullion vans, apparently.
Absolutely, because they have been using the pickups for such purposes. What is he bringing on board for us to be able to make sure that the police personnel in there would be protected? And so I expect a rebranding image by the Ghana Police Service. I know that with the kind of diverse knowledge that he brings on board, the Ghana Police Service will be rebranded for us to be able to see a much respected Ghana Police Service. I wish Dr. Dampare the very best of luck.
Is that a Commissioner of Police, Dr. Dampare?
Yes, to rise from a constable in 1991-92 to an acting IG almost 30 years later, it's quite a phenomenal rise. And now place this in context. Because within the service, it takes an average of about 4 years to move to the next rank. So if you do the calculation, it means that in 30 years, you should just be jumping to about 6 positions. So that's what makes it very, very phenomenal. So if you are a constable, and in 30 years, by the normal computations that you write your promotion exams, you pass every 4 years, it should be like a chief inspector or an ASP. Yes.
An ASP.
Yes.
Yeah, 6.
6. Yes, because a constable, you become a lance corporal, you become a corporal, you become a sergeant, you become a staff sergeant, then I think yes.
Chief inspector.
That's right. So it doesn't come cheaply. When you see them like that, it doesn't come cheaply. It takes a lot of hard work. But you see that the qualifications with which he became a constable, he quickly garnered more. He quickly went back to school. I think he must have been doing part-time studies and quickly, acquired higher educational qualifications to be able to serve in these capacities. Like Vincent said, you cannot get to this height of police service and not be a decent policeman. So the decency will be an underlying quality. I wish him all the best. I hardly know him. I know a lot other senior officers, but Dampare's path of mine, having crossed too often. I know him a bit from afar, but everybody says good things about him. I wish he comes to this position and with a new paradigm shift in the police service. They've taken a lot of flank these days, crowd control issues and all that. Brutalization of MPs when we are simply walking to go and present petitions and all that. So I wish that he would work.
That matter, are you guys still in court?
I don't know. Ask the Republic. So I wish that he can be political because he owes his appointment to a political actor, but he shouldn't be partisan. He can be political, but he shouldn't be partisan. That's all that I can say.
Sorry, what's the difference?
There's a whole world of difference to that.
Okay.
Yes.
Please educate me.
Okay. Now, I can safely say that given the nature and character of our politics, he may be an MPP. He may be. I use my words advisedly. He may be. But as soon as you become an acting IG, you don't have to approach your work in a partisan manner. So that when there are infractions, when the offenders are NPP, you let go. When they are NDC or CPP, you let the law take its course.
Okay.
That's the difference.
All right.
Now, the other thing I want to say is that I am increasingly becoming uncomfortable with the the issue of acting capacity. We have an IGP. An IGP who was in an acting capacity. We want to replace him. We are replacing him with someone also in an acting capacity. When do they get to serve in a substantive position? We need to check it. You see, there are a lot of CEOs are in an acting capacity. It doesn't bring stability to the institution because they are always jittery, they are unable to take firm policy decisions. It's a new phenomenon, and I think we need to check it.
Why aren't we also talking a lot about the prison service appointment?
I was going to go there. Because you asked two questions. Look, I think that the Director General Ejura will use his first 2 months to visit the prisons. He may be a senior officer sitting at Ring Road, but he needs to visit in Sawam and visit Karachi.
The second day, there was a protest.
Yes, visit Ankafo,
Kumasi,
and visit Kumasi. Look, our prisons are choked.
But what can he do? Can he build infrastructure?
No, he can liaison with the judiciary and the Ministry of Interior. It is time we introduce non-custodial sentences to affect some offenses. Mama, when you commit a traffic offense, there's no point a magistrate sentencing you to a prison term.
Custodial sentence.
There's no point. There's no point at all. That when you jump a red light, a magistrate, when you are tried and convicted, a magistrate should sentence you to say 1 year prison term or 6 months prison term. It doesn't make sense. And in addition to that,
see, that would be very difficult for the prisons officer himself to be able to do it. There should be effective collaboration.
That's why I said himself, his institution, the judiciary, and the Ministry of Interior, and the AGs. Look, you get to the prisons, and the other great phenomenon is the remand cases. Some people are on remand for 10 years. And so as I speak, we are working on a private members bill in this matter.
Isn't the work of what Justice Honyanuga did he spearhead? Because for a long time it was him in the lead.
We were doing that together. You know, I was the Young Lawyers Forum president, and Samson was my vice. We had a team of about 5 executives. We were championing a lot of programs to get.
This is Justice for All.
Justice for All program. Yes, and Honyanuga was the CJ's representative from the judiciary.
Hasn't that eased the remand issues a bit?
Let me use this analogy. Now, Mamavi, is as if you are trying to drain water from a poly tank during rainfall.
Oh. Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, now I understand.
You understand? Yes. So you mark time, because the more efforts you make to get people out, a lot more are being sent in. So the numbers don't dwindle. In fact, if you do the calculation, there are more people being sent in than with the Justice for All program is getting them out.
Okay. Let me get your thoughts on Mr. Isaac.
And there are a lot of social vices being picked from prison. Sodomy, when you go, you get sodomized, you come out, you become gay.
Yeah.
People steal, people become addicted to cocaine, to marijuana.
So the prison is not doing what it was expected to do, which is to reform
people.
People are coming back.
As for the reformative party, for me, it's become a bit theoretical.
But we've also heard and seen stories of people who have written examination whilst in prison and who have passed. People have come out better.
I agree. In fact, the establishment of the High Court at Nsawam by C.J. Wood was part of this drive, so that you don't have to travel to Accra to have some of these cases tried. And by some design, they get the opportunity to come and observe,
The prisoners?
Yes.
Okay.
Those who are of good conduct and of report and all that.
Okay.
And when they come and work outside, they spend a few minutes to observe and see how. So you begin to even acquire the desire that eventually, if you come out, you may want to become a lawyer one day. or court clerk. You know, those things, they aspire you.
I guess we need more of that.
I agree.
Vincent, what would be your charge for Mr. Isaac Kofi Ejura? Let me just say that until his promotion, he was Deputy Director General of the Ghana Prison Service, and he's worked, I think, for about 26 years in the prison service.
I think that I cannot agree with my brother more. I have had the opportunity to visit.
No, it wasn't Justice Huenyanuga, it was Justice Hometou.
Who started it, but there was...
Is there a change?
No,
Justice for... We work with Hometou, Justice Hometou.
Okay, we're going to cross-check.
Yes, please cross-check. You know, I've been trying to, but I think it's Hometou.
Okay.
Please
cross-check that for us.
I think that there is work to be done with respect to the prison service. I have had the opportunity to visit prisons. At least every year, I visit it once on the 26th of December. St. Stephen's Day, for those of us who joins 9th of Marshall. Every year. Yes, every year. We go to, in fact, the 9th of the Blessed Sacrament, that is the Mass service, we go to the prisons to do some donations to them. But when you go, Mama V, you see that prison service is nothing to write home about. It is not just about the fact that they are choked, but the consequences of that overpopulation over there, the consequences of it is very, very important. We take people to custodial sentence for the purposes of reformation. Now, if you are supposed to reform someone, maybe in a period of 10 years, the person come back home worse off, then the essence of
not reformed.
The essence of the reformation has been defeated. And so I think that there's work to be done. I just hope that there will be effective collaboration between the Ghana Police Service, the Interior Ministry, the Attorney General's Department, and the Prisons Directorate as well, to be able to find a way whereby they will be able to...
The judiciary, very important.
Very, very important. So that they will be able to take a lot of people out there who are not supposed to be there necessarily, especially those on remand cases. 10 years, 15 years, just for the purposes of remand is unacceptable. And I think that the Ghana Prison Service, and I'm charging...
We'll still give them less than 2 cedis
charging the leader
for feeding, don't we?
Well, it's something that we can also...
I think Parliament will have to look at it.
We can look at it.
It's at the Interior Defense Committee.
Sometimes you go and you see the kind of food they are being served.
That was the second, what the secondary protest was about.
The revolt.
It's pathetic, very pathetic. And I think that we should have a second look at that.
It's a shame. The fact that you go to prison doesn't mean, I mean, there are people who have done bad things. There are people who also haven't. They've just been found guilty, but they may not have really committed
and indeed, 10, 15 years later, the court itself will overturn the decision.
So it doesn't mean that the fact that you go to prison, we should treat you bad.
No, at all. So like I was saying, you jump a red light, you are caught by the man at Tesano MTTD, you are gone. By the time you realize, you're in prison 6 months, 3 months.
So my producer, Eko, has brought the clarity. Okay. Justice Honyanuga serves as chairman.
Okay.
And then... Hometou is part of the team.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Now, let's move to the special prosecutor. There is a vetting that's going to happen today in Parliament. The nominee, the president's nominee to occupy the special prosecution position after Martin Amidou famously resigned, is Mr. Kisi Ejabeng. I think when the appointment first came, when the nomination first came, it was a recommendation and then the nomination. People said perhaps he was a bit too young. I guess today we will see the different sides based on the questions that will be put to him. But let me ask you, let me start with you. Do you also have some kind of opposition to his appointment?
Yes. My leader cannot speak in Parliament, and then I will depart. So I agree that it's quite young. He may not have the gravitas. You see, if you check the OSP law, we were very, very sure of what we were doing, because I was in the thick of affairs. We were not simply looking for a special prosecutor who will be a lawyer of 15 years standing, and all that normal criteria of high moral standing. No. In addition to those constitutionally defined criteria for purposes of appointment to a court of appeal, we're further looking for somebody of a corruption-related experience. So even if you went into the debate, initially the idea was that we could even get a foreigner to come and serve, but that got shut down. Because the overwhelming debate was that we could still get Ghanaian.
Because so I guess you were looking for an objective person, somebody who didn't belong to any of the
a lawyer of this caliber would be objective. But we were saying that we needed somebody who had, for instance, somebody who had served as attorney general, as a principal state attorney, senior state attorney, done prosecutions, somebody who has worked with Yoko. We wanted somebody who had...
A retired officer or what?
Even a
retired?
No. If you were serving with attorney general and you caught the eye of the president and you could be appointed. But we're looking for a relevant experience in terms of matters of fighting graft, either in the public service or within an international organization.
Okay.
So, for instance, we're also looking at the point where we could get a judge. We could get a judge appointed, a serving judge. So what would have happened is that the judge will leave the bench and take up the position and become a public prosecutor.
But you didn't put all that in the law.
No, but it is there. If you see, to be able to interpret what an experience in corruption and corruption-related fights, it means that as a judge, you must have been adjudicating matters of that. Prosecutions must have, cases of criminal nature must have come to you related of these matters. All right, so the issue about Kisi is that a top lawyer, very good, articulate, qualifies within those three criteria. Minimum qualification at the bar is qualified, of high moral character. As for that barometer, we don't have any barometer to measure that. But it's not been involved in any scandal of any moral nature or of any other nature. So he qualifies. He's a Ghanaian, all right? But the law says, has he got an experience in fighting corruption or corruption-related matter? That's where the issue is. But as my lecturer in criminal law, it was TA to Professor Mensa Bonsu. He lectured me, I think, 2006. He went to Cornell and he came back from Cornell in 2006. So in our final year at the faculty, he was the TA to Professor Mensa Bonsu, who was taking us in criminal law at the faculty. So we have that relationship, and we have since remained. When we qualified, when we left law school in 2009, we left the faculty in 2007. Those days, we enter law school straight. So when we finished in 2009, we become close. So I want to assure him that will give him all the support. But he should go into
doubts with his
he doesn't have
corruption credentials.
I am saying, I spoke very carefully. I'm saying the issue about his appointment and qualification has to do with the fact that people don't see the fact that he's been involved in fighting corruption and corruption-related cases, which is a key part of the requirement. Notwithstanding.
You wish him well.
I wish him well.
Okay. All right, you, Vincent.
Yeah, Mamabi, I do not think that you necessarily have to get a certain kind of gravitas before.
You say we need like a no-nonsense kind of person who can
That's
say
okay.
it as it
But
is.
in my definition, you need someone with principles, simplicity. Isia Jaben lectured me, the first time I saw him was in the criminal law class. And I've known him as someone not just of high moral character. He is saying that he doesn't even know how there is a certain kind of barometer that you can use to measure someone with high moral character. But if you engage someone for quite some time, you are able to assess the person's integrity. You are able to assess the person's high moral character.
High moral character is a standard qualification.
Has the court
Just allow me.
Just allow me. We haven't tested that yet. I think we've tested age.
Was Aban, wasn't it? No,
we tested age, but we haven't tested high moral character.
Yeah. So, Mama V, I am of the view that he comes to the table with a normal, competent, he knows his stuff, and I think that I have no doubt in my mind that he will not be able to take up this task. Kisia Jabin, as we all know, will come to the table with some amount of experience in terms of criminal law, in terms of the number of cases that he's been able to deal with, in terms of corruption and what have you. So I have no doubt in my mind that Kisia Jabin will be able to succeed. Martin Amidu, as we all know, on November 15th, resigned on the basis of allegations that he made against the president of the land. I'm not able to substantiate those allegations, but I am cocksure that Kisia Jabin will be able to fill in the shoes or the gap that he left, because Martin Amidu came to the fore with so much hope, so much aspiration, so much conviction that he will be able to deal with corruption in this country, especially when we knew that there was a certain disability with respect to the office. Hold on. With respect to the Attorney General's office. Over the years, we realized that the Attorney General's office is supposed to be dealing with corruption and all that. Since 1992, we realized that there was a certain gap, and for that matter, the creation of the Office of the Special Prosecutor will be able to assist the government, or if you like, the state, to be able to deal with corruption. Unfortunately for us, he failed the people of Ghana. But I am hoping.
Did he fail or the government failed him?
He has made those allegations. Hold on, I have sat on this platform to tell you that I cannot substantiate those allegations that he has made. Okay. Those allegations he made, but I know that Kisia Jabin will be able to deal with corruption, as has been reported.
May I say this about Kisia, though? Every good criminal defense attorney will be a good prosecutor. I've been a good criminal defense attorney, and I think if I ever become a prosecutor,
he's giving himself fancy.
You're saying that
he could become a good prosecutor.
Yes.
That's why I say I'll give him the benefit of it.
Just a minute on the finance minister. Did he swerve Parliament or not?
He swerved us.
How is that?
And he answered tangential questions. And so my point is this: if the Minister of Finance cannot account for how much the president spends on his travels, how can he account for the expenditure of this country for the last 6 months on July 19th?
Really?
Oh, he says that budgetary.
He says we should. You see, you know, this question emanated through defense. Nitiwu says we should direct it to Minister of Finance. Finance says now we should take it to Ministry of National Security.
No, what I remember is at the time, the question had been filed, one to the defense minister and then to the finance minister.
So
he came to answer the airworthiness of the jet.
At the time. You come and answer question about airworthiness and leave the cost out. Now the cost directed at the Minister of Finance, he said we should direct it at the Minister of National Security. Very soon we will ask about road construction and they will tell us that it's a matter of national security.
I think that
everything that is national security.
I think that you people should bow your head in shame. You know why? Because
they filed a similar question.
Because
he was they filed a similar question directed at the Ministry of Finance to tell this country the cost of travels by President Mahama from 2013 and 2016. And
it's a different administration, isn't it? Maybe things work differently.
No, they know they'll be embarrassed. So he chose to say that it's a national security matter. National security.
The finance minister.
Travel,
the question that was posed to the finance minister was very succinct, was very clear. Indeed, he had no locus to
Couldn't he have conferred with the National Security Ministry to get those details?
Can you go around all ministries? He goes to the Ministry of Education.
Mama, do you know that
can I make my point?
Payment, every public payment is accompanied by a warrant.
Let me make my point.
A warrant.
Can I make my point?
Through the gift me system.
You are proposing for a time whereby even when Ghana Education Service or Prison Service makes any expenditure, you call upon the finance minister to come to parliament to come and answer for those expenditures that have been made. That is what you are doing.
That is not what we are saying.
The finance minister was clear that this is an issue of Office of Government Machinery or the Chief of Staff in collaboration with the National Security. And so if you want figures as to how much has been spent on the president's travels for the past few months, the best person who is placed to answer these questions is the National Security Minister.
What you need to do is that media budget review.
What you guys need to do is that you just have to file another question, which I'm told they filed to the National Security Minister to come to the floor of Parliament.
Wouldn't this feature in the media budget review?
Answer to what you.
So what is it coming to tell us in the media budget review?
That there's going to be another question from our side to also inquire for the number of, like the amount of monies that have been used or that were used by President Mahama from 2013.
Why would you want to do that?
But why
not President Kufuor? Why not President Kufuor?
What is the consequence?
Why not President Kufuor?
You can also file. You can also file a question to get those answers. But I'm also promising you that we are going to do that. We are going to find out as to how much was spent from 2013 to 2016.
To what end?
So that you know the.
But the question they are asking is relevant to the taxpayer.
You see,
people want to know.
Look at the history as to how this question was asked. You just told him from the defense minister. They want to.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Not a figure.
Are you sure you have a media budget review?
This is where we end the conversation. Yes, Vincent.
They have already put out that 2.8 billion Ghana cedis. So if you know that
you have a media budget review for us.
They said so. So why are they in Parliament to ask the finance minister about the money if you already know the amount of money that was spent?
Do you have a media budget?
Gentlemen, it's been great having you. Thank you for the analysis. Stay with us. Up next, we're talking about state of play. See, state of play is not like this political. It's the political analysis that starts on.
Multimedia.
Oh my God, multimedia. This is a prompter for me, Mr. Dapamapo. I haven't asked for help. It starts on.
So what starts? Is it show or shoot?
It starts on social media. It starts on. We will be back. We will be back. Let's talk about state of play now. It's our political analysis show that sits on social media. Head of our political desk, Evans Mensah, is here to tell us all about states of play. They say they're going to be politically incorrect. Evans, what does that mean?
Well, it means shackles coming off. You know, the thing about sitting on a formal mainstream channel like this is this scrutiny you have when you're analyzing stuff. The temptation is to be, fine and refined in what you say. But on social media, you don't have those same restrictions. The restrictions that apply are professional standards, which we have in abundance. But making your point brutally frank, being factually, assertive about what you're saying, is the difference here. So a few things that I guess prompted this. One of the major criticisms of social media, when it comes to social media generated content, either print or broadcast, is that social media lacks professionalism. So there's a lot of people who say that you're maligning or being malicious, for the already existing social media content. And so how do you cure that? You cure that by taking your tried and tested professional products that you have on television, on JoyNews and Joy FM, and try and take it there. Why? Because I bet that most of the content that you follow on broadcasting, you follow it on your phone. If you're driving, you will possibly listen to JoyNews, watch JoyNews. I do that. On my phone, I'll go to YouTube or I'll go to Facebook. That's how I get you. I rarely tune into AM show on my TV at home. Rarely do that. So the masses are there. That's where they are. That's where they play. And the difficulty, though, is how many times have you not been listening to a content, some live traditional media content on your phone, and there's a very interesting debate, and you're arguing with yourself. You want to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
And you are debating the issue. You've taken your own side with you in your car, with yourself.
Yeah.
There's nobody else beside you to argue, but you're arguing. And you wish you could sort of make that opinion heard, you know, in a conversation. So what tends to happen is you either pick a phone and make a call, and which is, your chances of getting through is very, very minimal, or you send a text and hope that it's read,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The thing about it is, me and you, because we have friends, you can send it directly to the host. Even that, there's no guarantee that the host will see.
True.
So state of play was birthed out of these considerations. Why don't you take, the content is already there. People are already there. They want it there on social media. Take this onto social media so that we can see the reactions coming in real time. And it's going to be live. So the three of us on the show have our phones, and there's a screen that is beaming these comments, and we see it. And it's all designed to react and to answer your questions in real time. So we're not going to be doing all this, somebody sitting somewhere and making the decision as to what comes in or not.
Okay. And do they get to be interacting with you at the same time?
In fact, that's all the show is about. So it's 30 minutes from 2:30. The first edition is today. So we do first 10 minutes to lay the foundation, right?
Okay.
Everybody is going to take a position on an issue, the three of us, and then we argue, brutally frank, state our opinion. You disagree with it or you don't, but you'll be on the live. After that, the next 20 minutes is just to engage our social media audiences. So they send us questions. So you have a question about something somebody has said on the show, or something about what we are talking about that you had, that you wanted clarity on. You ask that question and you get a response. You have a comment, you make it, we'll read it.
Okay.
If you disagree, you do it. But here's the thing. We know because it's social media and it's political, we're going to get a fair bit of abuse, which is actually welcome. This is not something you say on AM show, that I welcome abuse on AM show. I mean, please abuse me. But we say our sub tagline we say among ourselves is, you get the response you deserve. So if you choose to come onto State of Play to abuse, you get a response in equal measure. We are not going to abuse you, but we're going to give you a response that befits what you've chosen to do. Of course, we encourage you to be constructive, but we know the social media army of the two political parties and more, they are ready.
They will come at you.
We've been harvesting a lot of comments already since we outdoored this show. A lot of them, the known ones, have said, yeah, we are waiting for you. So one of the things we'll do today when we start is to read out a few of those who have served notice that they were ready, and then tell them to bring it on.
This is very exciting, but this doesn't get to come on television at all.
Absolutely not. And so it's not going to be on this fantastic network that you've enjoyed for so long. It's not going to be on
But
Joy.
it's going to be on the JoyNews Facebook page, on the Joy FM Facebook page.
Yes.
The conversation will be trending on Twitter.
On Twitter, on Instagram Live, on
YouTube.
On YouTube,
Yeah.
on Snapchat, and I think there's another one, the TikTok, right? So we're going to be on all those platforms, so you can engage in your own way.
Okay, so 2:30 live with
2:30.
you three.
Yes.
Big heads.
Yes, and that's another thing about it. So if you decide to come on the thing to come and talk about heads, yeah, we'll find something to tell you in equal measure.
Okay.
So yes, it's 2:30 today. Don't miss it. But the most important thing I need to emphasize is, don't forget, if you're engaging, to use a hashtag State of Play. Okay. So hashtag is State of Play, because that's the only way we can find you wherever you are. Because if you are saying stuff without that, unless you are on the actual live stream that we'll see, but wherever you are on Twitter, elsewhere, use the hashtag State of Play. Your views will definitely come
So
through.
is there a common topic that you three will be talking about?
Yes, we have a topic. I'm going to be putting it out soon, but I can give you a clue. I mean, so yesterday the finance minister was in Parliament, right, after so long, and they said, I'm sorry, but I didn't have the answer. You have to go to somebody else.
Graphic puts it, finance minister
swerves Parliament. So we'll talk about that. But it's also very interesting that, have you considered the correlation between COVID-19 wave as we have it now and failure of political leadership? Is there a correlation between failure of political leadership and a COVID-19 wave? Have you considered that? So
I haven't.
So that's one of the things we'll take on. You say, what's political? Absolutely, we have found a correlation, and we'll tell you what the correlation is when you join us on State of Play tonight. We're not going to hold any prisoners.
Nice. So do the people that join, do they get to introduce their own topics, or they have to flow with you guys?
So we'll have the topic. We'll come on the set with that topic, and then obviously you can join wherever you are with your views on the chosen subject for the day.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe we'll come to
I'm
time.
locked down 2:30 with you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. Your phone is just perfect to join. You don't need any apart from data. That's all you need, and then you join for 30 minutes.
All right. So 2:30, Evans, Winston, and Raymond. We're making a date with them. Strictly social media, and get interactive. Use the hashtag State of Play. Hashtag State of Play. Evans, thanks a lot for passing through the show.
Thank you.
So you know that around this time on the AM show, we just delve into what is happening in the world of entertainment. So over the weekend, Ghana music is going to be rife, huge and large and in charge in the whole of UK. Can't get to see the Ghana Party in the Park Festival. Well, this festival has been going on for 16 years. Well, this year marks the 16th year. And I'm crossing over to UK to give you some exclusives. So my colleague Dorian Avio is there. She is going to be hosting the show. She's going to be co-hosting, and she's there with all the musicians all the Ghanaian musicians who are making sure that our music is up there. Let's get onto Zoom and have that chit chat with Dorian. Dorian, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. And
hello, Doreen. Hello.
How are you, Ivy?
I'm great. I'm great. Well, I've seen we've already had a lot of pictures of how the whole thing is going on, how the euphoria is being built. But tell me, how ready are the artists that you left this country with? How ready are they for Saturday's event?
In fact, they are so poised. They are so excited about it. For some of them, this is their first time in the UK. Others, too, this is probably the second or third time. But I can tell you that they are really excited. They are all set. I see most of their fans interacting with them on social media, trying to know what's happening to them. Maybe some of them want to come around, have some time with them. But unfortunately, because of what we're doing here, the quarantine and all that, we try to stop them not to come here until they see us on the main day. So, yes, so far it has been a good one. They are all set. Rehearsals are ongoing. Setup is also going on. And we are all happy. In fact, I'm actually sitting here with Camido. This is not Camido's first time in the UK, but I can tell. I've been brought for about home. Okay, so this is...
I'm so surprised. It's been only a few days and you have switched like that. Wow, Doreen.
You hear Yao talk when he said that right now he's different. The way he speaks is different and all that. So you should know that.
So you're also different, right?
We've all switched and we are speaking a different language. And I can tell you that we are all excited. Camido is here. DJ Mensah, who has been taking care of us here in the hotel, is also around. He's seated. And I'm sure when you finish talking to Camido, DJ Mensah can also join us here. So Camido is here. Over to you, Camido.
Yes. Let me have a chit chat with Camido. Boomba!
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm great. How ready are you for, the festival, Ghana Party in the Park?
Ready, very ready. Matter of fact, we're just like prepping still with the performance lineup and all of that. We're just prepping. But I'm really happy and excited to take the Ghanaian culture and vibe, to the Trent Park and show our UK fans how we do it. Just show them how we do it in Ghana, Yeah.
Well, earlier on at the launch, you made me know that this is the first time you are getting on the stage, the Ghana Party in the Park stage, right?
Yeah, this is my first time on the Ghana Party in the Park. stage. Yeah, I have been on other stages, but this is my first time on that particular stage, and I'm very excited, honestly, because I hear how I hear people preach how much exciting that show is. So I'm really like anticipating that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ghana Music is going to be up very, very important this weekend. How does it make you feel? You being in the UK.
Very great. Like I said, I'm very excited because we see a lot of Nigerians doing a lot of stuff here in the UK, and I feel like this is the time that this is one opportunity that Ghanaians need to grab. And so I'm always on live. My other colleagues are on live on IG every time, inviting people. There's no reason why someone should not or should miss this show. So I feel like this is an exciting time for the whole of the Ghanaian culture up in the UK. So I'm very excited, honestly.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be shifting to Kwabena, but before that, let me talk to DJ Mensa because I see him sitting by you.
Yes, boss.
Yo, what's up?
Morning.
Good. Yeah, DJ Mensa. Well, the feeling is different, I know. But how ready are we for Saturday's show?
We're about 95% ready now. From our side, the team is on the park trying to get everything sorted out and get it ready for Saturday.
Okay.
I mean, you all know what has been going on. Last year, we couldn't do it. So, and then if you ask me, we are the first festival, to happen when it comes to the UK opening up. So the pressure is on us. I mean, you know that the cases are going up again as we speak right now, but then we are doing everything in our part to make sure that it doesn't go up, whatever the case. I mean, the rules and regulations that we've been set to use, I mean, we're going by it. You can't make a mistake with this one, especially it being the first one. You don't want other festivals being cancelled and all. So, I mean, this is where we are now.
Okay. Well, I know that Ghana Party in the Park is not the only festival built for this period. I know you have the Palm Wine Festival and the Metro Festival. Can you tell me something about them too?
Yes, I mean, again, we will know exactly after this one. As I said earlier on, it's there's an email coming in to make sure we are getting everything right.
Okay.
This the very first one will tell us what is going to happen with the next one. So I mean, we're here now.
Okay.
We just want the first one to go and know that the world is ready to open up again for other festivals.
Well, I've not been seeing your creative director around Sarkodie. How's he also falling in line with all the creativity that's going to be on stage?
I mean, he also got to town yesterday. I happened to talk to them. I mean, we were on the phone. We are still in quarantine, so we are not allowed to go out. We have to make sure we do our second test before anything, before we are released, because we also did the early release. So we are abiding by the rules. He is somewhere. He is not where we are, but he's also in town to make sure the show goes on well.
The show goes on well. Okay. Exactly what time is it starting tomorrow?
Doors usually open from 12 and ends at 8. Yeah.
Okay. Well, DJ Mensa, all the best with everybody there. I know Kwabena is around. Is it possible I can talk to Kwabena?
Okay, Doreen will take care from you.
Okay, so unfortunately, as I said, I mean, we were all here trying to, have some breakfast, but some of the artists are still trying to get ready to join us here at the lobby. As I said, because of quarantine, we are not really allowed to stay here for too long or sit here to be chatting up and all.
Okay. But before you go, Doreen, can you just quickly run me through? Can you take me through the list of artists who will be performing?
Okay, so we will be having some surprise acts as well, but so far, what we have here,
Okay, Doreen, the network is messing up. So sorry we couldn't have Doreen running us through the lineup, but like she said, some surprise artists are going to be there. But for what I know Amarado is there, I know Yao Tog is there, Kofi Jama is there, Kweku Flick is there, I know Sefa is there, Mr. Jew, you saw Kamido, Kwabena is also there, and there's a surprise act. Well, we'll be bringing you all the exclusives immediately the show starts and also when the show is over. And you should get your channel logged here on the AM show because we are going to be unraveling that mystery. Well, the name is Ibrahim Ben Bako.